Okay, hi. This is Jinny's review. And before I start, I have to be honest with you. I'm not entirely sure why I'm making this, even as I'm making this. But I just thought that I wanted to keep a record of the things that I watch, the drama series, movies, and even the books that I read. I thought, I don't know, it would be meaningful for me in the future, maybe if I wanted to revisit the movies and the dramas that I watched. So I thought of making this content. I don't know, it's like, um, I don't know. I just wanted to. These days, I'm like exploring a lot of things, random things that I just wanted to do. And I guess this is one of the things that I wanted to do. I don't really have a logical reason why I'm making this, but I just wanted to make a little commentary content, I guess, of the things that I put in. Yeah. So, okay, so this is gonna be my first Jinny's review. It's gonna consist of my personal take on the drama series, movies, and books that I read and watch. And I'm beginning this with Friends, my all time favorite drama series. And I just happened to watch episode 4 of season 1, so I'm just beginning from episode 4. So here it is. I think this episode is mainly focused on Ross and Rachel, and just like the other characters in other seasons and other episodes, I think it focuses on the two characters' growth, and I really like growth stories, I should say. And yeah, I put that photo of Rachel. She's happy after getting her paycheck. It's her first paycheck that she got after working at the cafe, the Central Perk, and she's so happy. So it's right before Rachel opening the envelope, and I thought this would be the title photo, the main photo that I wanted to use for this content because it just encapsulates the message that I think the staffs wanted to convey through this episode. The growth, the growing people. Okay, so next page. So I told you that Ross and Rachel are the two main characters for this particular episode, and we begin with Ross in the episode. So he's really grumpy and very sad because he just got out of a very painful divorce. His wife, Carol, I think was her name. And the other friends, especially the two guys, are trying to uplift his spirits because they just want him to have a good time and forget about the pain that he had to go through um, about his divorce. So Joey got 3 tickets to the hockey game, and they're kind of persuading Ross to go with them. And then Ross is kind of sulking, I think. He's deciding what to do. And yeah, he's still deciding what to do. And finally he says, okay, I'll go because it will help him get his mind off of Carol. And yeah, so the 3 guys decided to go out and have a fun boys' night out. And then comes Rachel. She's really happy. She's like all over the place. She's flying that little white envelope that she got as her first paycheck, and she's super happy. And then the others are also excited and happy for her. They're, I think, curious about, her paycheck. And it's just before she opens the paycheck, so she's really super excited, very happy. The others are expectant too, waiting for her to open the envelope. And then she goes and opens the envelope, and I didn't put that photo in there, but she's super, super sad that there's so little money in the envelope, and she can't just believe that. But everyone, the others, even Joey, who works as a on and off actor in the series, everyone understands how the paycheck can be very little after like all the taxes and stuffs are taken out before they give you the paycheck. So everyone understands, and they try to give her some tips. Yeah. And then comes Rachel's, I think, high school friends or college friends. And obviously they're very rich, just like Rachel before she became independent from her parents. So yeah, they're super excited to see her in the city, but they don't really quite, understand what Rachel is going through or what she is trying to do for her life, do for herself. So those two are the main plots, main stories that will be dealt in this episode. So one about Ross and the one about Rachel. So we go on to the boys' side once again, and they're walking on the streets and they're on their way to see the hockey game. And then in every corner, Ross is very reminiscent of the past that he had with Carol. So like he walks and stops, and others are getting annoyed, and their annoyance level is like going up each time he stops, like remembering the past, the happy days that he had with Carol. But because the whole purpose of their like outing is to forget all about that past and its divorce, and especially about Carol, the other two boys, Chandler and Joey, are not so happy. So yeah, they're walking on the streets, moving. And then we move on to the girls' side once again. And now they're sitting around the table and having a very serious talk about what Rachel would do for her future. But unlike the friends that she has, unlike the other main characters who are very independent and who make their own living, the other three girls, they are born into a rich family. They are, born with a silver spoon, and I think they're trying to persuade her to go back to her like past life, like how much she had enjoyed, how she can be comfy under her parents' roof, and how she could get all the things, the material things that she used to have. So I think they are like debating and discussing. But I think in the first episode when Rachel, she dumped her boyfriend, her husband to be at the wedding, at the altar. So I think that was the turning point for the character of Rachel, that she cannot go back. She passed that river, that she cannot go back to the past, go back to past again. Like she can't undo. And I think she like, that's one of the main messages that the staffs, the director and the writer wanted to convey, I think. It's that growing up part. Especially for Rachel, that means being independent from her parents and taking control of her own life financially and emotionally and in every way that she can. Right? So in the meantime, the other two girls, Monica and Phoebe, they are quite excited about having a girls' night. Not girls' night out, a sleepover at Monica and Rachel's house. So they're all in their pajamas, and they just ordered a pizza. And then the boys just arrived at the hockey game. And then the girls. So here Rachel is having her second serious talk with other group of friends. So the first group of friends were her high school friends. They could be a little bit more materialistic, and they could be realistic, or or they could be like unrealistic too, because they're all I think under their parents' like control, like financially. They're either dependent on their husbands or parents. So that's one side. But these friends, Monica and Phoebe, they make their own way in their life. So she's having her second conversation with a different set of friends, and Rachel is trying to understand, I think, about herself and what she wants to do with her life in the future. They're having a really serious talk, but actually, Phoebe and Monica, they also don't have any answers. They talk about the jack and the magic bean, and then the magic bean, like a metaphor for a future that's like all glittering and happy, but in reality, nobody knows. We just live and we just do what we can in the situation that we're given, and we try to make the best of every situation, I think. Yeah. So they come to a dead end in their conversation, and Rachel knows and everybody knows that nobody has the answer. It's their own life, and you'll never know until you live your own life, right? So that's the girls' conversation. They're having a very serious talk. And then we move on to the boys' side again, and they were watching the hockey game, but then Ross is hit by a puck and he has kind of a nose cut. So the others are like super excited that they're on screen, but Ross is in pain. And then the boys move on to the hospital, and they encounter a very haughty nurse who's very not friendly, and she was talking to a candy company, I think. Yeah, she's really upset about the candy not being the good quality or of the quality that she imagined. Blah blah blah. And the boys are like, can't believe that she's having that conversation when it's like emergency room. Everyone's waiting for her to do her work. And then Ross steps in, but he doesn't have success either. And then we move on to the Monica's house. The girls are all in their pajamas right now and having more talks about future and how they don't have any like solid plan for their future, and they're super down. And then they ordered a pizza, and the pizza guy comes, and it's not their pizza, so they move on to this other guy who is the advisor to the White House. And the two girls, Phoebe and Monica, kind of have a crush on him, so kind of spies on him. And then the girls' conversation evolves into like their love life, and yeah, it's something more casual and something more light other than their like future stuff. And then the boys are still at the hospital, and then Ross gets his treatment, and he's kind of over his sad stories about his divorce and Carol and everything. And then the girls, they talk about their petty little stuff about love and things like that. And yes, they talk and talk and talk, and Ross, he wasn't so happy that day, but then after, like, I don't know, I guess he realizes that the two other guys are trying their best to make him feel better, and he feels better. So yeah, that's the end of the episode. So as for the girls, Rachel and the other girls don't really have a solution to their problems or to their anxieties. But that's life, I think. That's what everybody has to go through. It's your life. Nobody can't like live it for you. You have to make your own life. You have to choose, you have to make your own choices, and you also have to own up to it. You have to take responsibility for the things that you've done. Yeah, and I just put in a little photo that I used for the main page. Rachel, before opening the envelope, her paycheck. And what I really liked about this episode is that, as always, we can see the friendship between the among the six friends. It's really healing, and I especially like the part that they focused on the growth stories of Ross and Rachel. Ross is having a hard time, divorce and everything, but at some point he has to get over it, and there will be new things waiting for him, life's possibilities, but he wouldn't know if he doesn't get over the sad past that he just experienced. And he'll always have his friends who will be there to support him emotionally, and Rachel, she also, it was just good to see her trying to get out of her parents' nest and do something for herself. And the other two friends, and actually the five of them, all of them are supporting her. Yeah. And I just like the way that in every episode in Friends, like there will be one or two main character for that episode, and there will be other stories going on for the other sub characters in that particular episode, but they all mingle into one. And I just like the all the orchestrated and organized setting of the situations and the characters. I really liked it. Yes. So that would be all for my first review of the Friends series, Season 1, Episode 4. Yep, and that's my final page. Bye.